Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
What's up, boys? How's everybody doing today?
Much better today. Today feels like a good day.
Yeah, it's better than the last couple of games. I just got a message. We are live.
Oh, who told us that?
Yeah. So how does this work? Like, where are the comments and stuff? Let me see. That's private chat. Where's our public chat?
If I go to YouTube in our channel right now.
I don't know. How can you tell?
I don't know.
I'm going to YouTube to find out.
Oh, okay.
Dashboard or something.
I don't know where the where the comments are. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so we did a show before the first Flyer game, and I think I got my shows mixed up because I went on about how well I thought we were going to do on Monday night in Philly. And you guys, what's the matter, Tim?
No, sorry, because I had the YouTube open with you talking, and the YouTube was talking, so it was you, but it was like a split second delayed, and literally I thought I was a little schizophrenic for a second.
You don't need to hear Chris's voices twice.
Stroking out of it?
Just a little bit. I got to take my blood pressure medicine.
All right, so they played. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the first game, because I thought that might have been one of the worst games I've seen them play in a very long time. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, it was bad. It was, Bobby, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, there's really no other comments to make. That was flat. That was awful. There was nothing fun about that at all. That game really concerned me that we have a problem going forward.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, that's the same exact thing. That was the breaking point where I was like, I am very concerned. Like I've been concerned this month, but like that was the moment where I was like, shit, man, we might be really fucking bad. And like I put that heat map in my recap of like where our shots were, and we're just generating nothing from high danger areas in the slot, nothing. And I was like, man, are we just like a weak, soft team that can't get to the interior? Because honestly, that's kind of been the larger criticism of this team, is that we can't get on the inside. You know, we have some small, weak forwards, but then yesterday happened, and now I'm all kinds of confused. But you know,
yeah, they tend to do that, right? So like the first period, I was still getting like you guys, close to pushing the panic button. Like, this isn't good, man. They're doing the same shit. I mean, we were lucky that they didn't score in the first, but man, that second period, holy shit, where has that been for 2000? Well, I mean, really, the Boston game, I think they did that. And the Boston game, this is also another thing that was really like stressing me out. Like, we were bitching about changing the lines, everything gets changed up in Boston. And other than Markstrom getting injured, it looked so good. It's like, oh my God, like 5 goals. Timo and Dawson and Dowling's line looked fantastic. Hischier was playing great. Everybody was, this is okay. We're going to move forward like this. Even without Markstrom, like I said, I really wasn't too concerned with the injury. 4 to 6 weeks, Allen will be fine. But then when Hischier went down and everything kind of got thrown in a blender again, that's when I started. And then you saw what you saw last Monday in the first game against Florida Flyers. That's what really made me nervous. But man, yesterday Tony has been saying it for a while now, right? Like, the physicality, like they're not physical enough. That hit, the Dillon hit, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, but that changed the entire complexion of the game. We bullied the Flyers to the point that they didn't want to have anything to do with us. And then that led to us just being able to open up on them and score 5 goals. But the physicality, that's how we have to play. It's how we have to play every single night. I don't care if it's playing up and down the ice like against Toronto or Edmonton, or you're playing a big, heavy team like Florida or the Flyers. That's how the Devils have to play.
Yeah, it was quite awesome. I was actually texting with Derek during the game too. Like you guys often usually have 2 text threads going. He said it looks like the Devils hit the reset button. And at the time, I remember saying, well, I would have preferred this reset button maybe against a higher caliber team to feel much better. But then I realized that Philly gives us fits, and it is still a very impressive win. But most importantly, that reset button was that hit for sure. That
Mm-hmm.
absolutely changed the game. That reminded me of like a Stevens type hit, how that would change the game. I think it was already 1-0 else at that point. But that sparked everything that happened after. And you're right. That's the way the team play, kind of within the boundaries, but on the edge. Of course, there was a lot of penalties in that game. You're going to get that, with the Flyers, stuff like that. But if they can go to that level and then maintain it without, breaking the law, then it's going to be good.
Yeah. Tim, what about you with the physicality? Where do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bobby. Like, I think that hit kind of set the tone, and when Nico got hurt, that last Flyers game, and now we can kind of look back on it, kind of really, now that we've had 2 games from it, kind of look at it, I think with a different eye. It reminded me a lot of that St. Louis game after Jack went down. Do you remember that
Right.
the rest of that game? It was kind of like you're like in disbelief, like, oh shit, what do we do? And they were just flat and dead, and just nothing happened. And that's kind of what that Flyers game was. It was just flat and dead, and nothing happened. It's kind of the same thing in the first period. They switched around the D pairs, which a few people have been calling for them to do. I could have had it one way or another. I like what they wound up doing. And I think a little bit of that first period could be attributed to those D pairs getting flipped around. There was a little bit of a disjointed, and there's some gap issues and kind of some communication issues. Like, but the Flyers are actually playing pretty well in that first period, and then that Dylan hit just snapped us out of something, whatever it was. What we realized, like when we lead with physicality, because we have players that can be physical, that can hit. You have to, going through the body. We have guys that can do that. They just needed to realize and remember that that's the team they are now. And I think that kind of snapped them into that, like, oh shit, yeah, we can do that. And honestly, the second that happened and things started, the temperature raised a little bit, things started getting a little frisky, the Flyers backed down. Like
Yeah, they did.
they backed down, and we just walked all fucking over them.
I
So
completely
refreshing.
agree. It was great to see. It really was, because that, like you said, that hit was brutal. And it was the exact hit, I'm sure who was it, Sealer, that threw that suicide pass into his fucking
Oh,
skates.
man.
Like, dude, you can't do that, man. And you know, beautiful hit from Dylan, but like for too long, especially since after I would say January on, and they talked about it in the intermission a little bit. Like Biz was even saying it, like they think that they're just an east west, north south team. Like rather, they got to play a little bit more physical. They can't just be run and gun all the time. They have the skill, but they have to play physical. And like you said, we saw it earlier in the year, right up until, but this was the first game, I think, all year. Because even in Boston, we just fucking outplayed them. Like we
Yeah.
were just a
Yeah, that's
better
a good
team.
point.
We didn't have to be super physical. But
Same
moving
with Montreal.
forward,
Same with Montreal. Like Montreal,
right.
that was a skill game. There's nothing physical about that.
Now you just have to, they can, if they play this way, they're going to be a very dangerous team. And once Markstrom and Heischer come back and whatever moves Fitz is going to make, I think they're going to be all right. But they got to do this consistently, because we've seen
How
it,
does this
right?
happen? How did they go from a team that was physically, holding their own and taking over games, being the team we saw leading up to like the Christmas break, to like slowly getting further and further away from that game? Is this just something that's going to happen like during a long year, and they just need
Yes
to
and
wake up,
no.
or what?
I mean, I can't say for sure, but the one thing that I would say it's hard to play that way for 82 games. It just gets to a point where it's like, all right, we're just going to, maybe back off a little bit tonight. We're playing, like you said, like Montreal or somebody that doesn't hit you a lot. But you have to be that physical team, because you can completely take teams like Montreal, like even Toronto.
Yeah.
You can take them completely out of their game, because we are much more physical than them. But I think it's just because it's really hard to play very disciplined hockey, because physicality, that's all it is. I mean, it's discipline, because you got to make sure you don't take the stupid penalty, you don't hurt somebody, you don't put your team in a bad position. They played it very, very good yesterday. They took the penalties when they had to. No bad penalties. It was just, you want to step up, we're going to step up, and we're going to go in the box for it. That's fine. And we killed them all off. And but yeah, I just think it's hard to do that for 82 games. What do you think, Tim?
Yeah, it's an exhausting style of play. And look, we're just like August in baseball. We're in the dog days of the season. It's cold out. It's fucking January. You don't want to go outside. It was like 12 last week. Just you kind of slip away from things a little bit. It's monotonous, and it's going and it's going, and you can just kind of fall out of your way and your rhythm. I do think that West Coast road trip really fucked up their heads a little bit. Like, I think it really, like, just the disjointedness of it, the different times, everything like that, just kind of got in their heads a little bit. And once they came back, they just haven't really been in sync. But I think the larger point is that it is a very difficult way to play. And when you play a team like the Flyers that are structured and can be pretty physical, if you out physical them, they don't have the skill to keep up with you.
That's it.
So that's kind of what I think they need to maybe pick and choose their battles. But like, when they play a team like this, where they know that they're better than skill wise, and that they have a physical advantage that they can take advantage of, nobody's going to beat them if they can play like that. If they can do that again, I am still worried about their first periods. Jake Allen, like, that game could have gone south on us so quickly. Like, was it Forster where he was juggling the puck coming in and nobody really touched him? They got 2 or 3 net front scrambles. Someone almost scored from behind the goal line.
I'm hoping that was some nerves mixed with what, kind of some PTSD from Monday night's game. And like you said, like the Dylan hit changed everything. It was like, oh, wait a second. Like, it finally, wow, wait, we are a physical team, guys. Why are we not doing this? And it just snapped them back into playing the way that they were kind of used to playing all year. So maybe it'll carry over. I mean, who do we have next, right? Buffalo on Saturday?
Buffalo,
is that the next
Saturday, or is it Sunday?
Or I think do they play Saturday? I thought they played
Saturday.
1 o'clock Saturday.
It's definitely Buffalo is the next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
1
think
o'clock,
you're right.
Sunday.
But I think Bobby
Sunday.
said this.
So they're off
too
till Sunday?
before, but
Yeah.
I think Bobby said this before. Is it's not really like getting the first goal was great, but once they get that second goal, it just seems like the floodgates open. Like, going up 2-0, like just the floodgates open. It didn't really happen against Montreal. Like, Montreal came back, but that's kind of, I think, a unique situation because Montreal is a very skilled team. But I don't know. Like, we're now suddenly 1, 3, or 4. We're on the right track. I don't know what the deal is with some of these guys coming back. Appreciate McDermott being in the lineup every now and then, but he's just not a competent hockey player. The
guys get big old chests though when he comes out. I mean, when he's on the ice, our guys do. They puff it up a little bit. They kind of strut a little bit more on the ice when he's on the bench. So
or when he's diving, across the blue line to break up one of our own zone entries.
He really is bad. I mean, he really is. He's kind of funny to watch.
What the fuck was that? That did, like, what play I'm talking about, right? Where he was offside. He's like diving at Pesce, who's trying to carry the puck in, and Lazar like almost ran him over too. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Crazy.
But we're 12-4-4 with him in the lineup, so
something's working.
So
something's working.
It's working. And honestly, if he gets 5 minutes a night, that means a better player is getting doubled and getting played a lot more. So.
And he also, like, he got a lot of love last night from Panger and the broadcast guys. They were, praising him a little bit, counting his minutes late in the third, and he was out there for the power play.
Power play time.
Yeah.
Power play time.
But, I don't expect him to be in the lineup. I guess, I mean, in the next 4 games.
Yeah.
The next 4 games, what do you think? Who do you think he's in for? Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Vegas, or Montreal? Those are our next 4.
I mean, doesn't he have to be? Like, are we out of bodies?
I don't think we have warm bodies. I mean, Hallinan was scratched, so
right.
I
So
think against Buffalo, we don't need like Buffalo's a soft team. I don't think we need him in the lineup, but maybe Vegas, we might see him.
that's who I
Vegas
was
heavy.
thinking. That to me is that's a game. I mean, that's the game that they've got to be up for.
Especially coming out of this. Like you
Yeah,
said, starting to turn it around. 3 out of 4. Got a Buffalo team, got a Pittsburgh team. Don't give me the
Vegas
should be
is-
wins things yet, but
I
but then
know,
Vegas is a nice
should be
measuring
wins.
stick.
But Vegas is also scuffling a little bit. Like in their last 10, they're 3-5-2. Like that's
It
been
is.
part of the problem is if you look at our division and our division in particular, like while we've been scuffling, Washington is 8-1-1. Carolina is 7-1-2. Columbus is 7-2-1. The fucking Rangers are 6-2-2. Even the Flyers are 6-3-1. Even the Islanders were 8-2. The only bad team was Pittsburgh, and then us.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Rangers lost 2 in a row. They got beat really bad last time to whatchamacallit, Carolina. Carolina whooped them. They lost the game that really ridiculous 15 seconds left game to Colorado.
Yep.
So they've now had the Natchez and Rantanen back-to-back first team to play both of them, and they beat them. They beat the Rangers. Both teams beat the Rangers. So
did you see did you see the stat where the Rangers gave up a point to everyone involved in that trade?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, in those
That's
2 games.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going back. They're not making the playoffs. They're not going to do it. I just think they're too far back, and there's too many teams to jump. And like you just said, there are a lot of teams. The Islanders are playing really good right now. They're going to crawl back into it. Detroit is playing pretty good. They're going to crawl back into it. I just don't think the Rangers right now have the skill. I watched a lot of that Carolina game against the Rangers. That was the Rangers during their 20-game slump or whatever. They looked terrible. They no defense. They were all out of position. I don't know what is up with Adam Fox. Like, does this guy he's not very good right now. He was one of their best Norris Trophy winning defensemen, and him and Miller, I think, are garbage right now. So I don't think they're doing it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't know. I waffle on them. Sometimes I think they are because it's the same team that won the President's Trophy. Like I don't. It's just really, really strange. But then you look at like Trocheck had a clean breakaway and tried to drop pass between his legs. Like, what are you doing, man? It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's like, why would you do that? It's absolutely insane to do that.
It's lack of confidence there.
It's confidence, and I think that confidence and momentum are real things game to game for things. And I think the Devils now have that kind of confidence and swagger back. I hope from this game. Who knows? They could lay another fucking dud.
I'd like to think so too, but I think what I want to make sure that the team goes back to is knowing how to win different ways and playing different games. Like the game we saw yesterday doesn't have to be every game. Like we said, you're going to have some north-south games. You play different way like they were before. So they found different ways to win. You want to play this style, we'll play that style. So I'm hoping that they don't think that they're going to play like that all the time, or B, forget that every now and then they have to play like that. But more importantly, I think everything we've seen this last month, and then like what Tim was just saying, like referencing this being like the August days of baseball, like I think the Devils might have learned something, that no matter what the standings currently are, there's an expectation on them. And I think we now get every team's best.
Yeah.
Every game.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of grow into that. You got to kind of learn how to respond to that, because maybe it's a dog day for you and you're somewhat comfortable playoff point wise, but it's not a dog day for another team that's like, these are the Devils. They're top 5 in the league, or whatever the perception is of us, and they're coming after us all the time. So you got to adjust to that too.
That, and you couple that with the fact that the entire Eastern Conference thinks they have a shot at the playoffs. So they're going in full bore,
Except for the Penguins.
And the Sabres.
And the Sabres.
Poor Sabres.
And the Flyers. I think we ended their any hopes or dreams that they might have had.
Yeah, I mean, these would be some really bad losses if they drop the ball moving forward, because I really hope last night kind of set them back on the right path. Like you said, like, oh, wait, we are this good and we can do this. And, we don't goal scoring hasn't completely dried. But you can't drop Buffalo or Pittsburgh. I mean, you have got to win those games.
Yes,
And I know they're going to
completely
be
agree.
tough. I know every team is tough. It's an NHL roster. I get that. But you got to win.
Are they NHL rosters?
Well, Buffalo's maybe. But you got, I mean, Vegas. I mean, yeah, I think Vegas can come in and beat us. I absolutely
Vegas
think
is
they
Vegas.
can.
They're still
Yeah.
one of the best teams in the league. They might have been a little slump now, but they're
So if I'm
playing.
hearing you right, we're going like 1-0-3. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat Vegas, and we're gonna lose
Right.
to everybody else, right?
And we'll lose to the
That's-
Sabres, the Penguins, and the Canadians.
That's
And
and
then-
that's a maturity thing.
Right.
Is getting yourself in the right frame of mind to even play the bad teams and not looking past them. And I think we still struggle with that. It was a problem last year, and it's still been a problem this year when we're losing to Anaheim and San Jose,
Mhm.
and fucking Flyers. And I was a little frustrated in that second period. I was like, where has this been?
Right.
I know that switch flip, but it's like you've had this capability this whole time, and you just suddenly decided to pick it up a notch. Just like emotion, you got to be able to try and manufacture that. And if it's physicality, like if it's Dylan laying a big hit, if it's McDermott playing, then do that. But I was a little annoyed. I was like, but then I was kind of happy.
Yeah, it was a hell of a second period, that's for sure. And who do you think had the best game last night? Or who were you at least like more impressed with? Because I thought I was extremely impressed with Mama Hughes' baby boy. I'm telling Luke looked so fucking good, and that goal was gorgeous. I mean, it was just what a beautiful shot. Like you said, just looking off his brother, taking the shot, beating him clean as a whistle. And I thought Luke had a really, really good game. I mean, he is so good at getting back on guys that beat him, get in front of him to close that gap, use his stick. He's getting so much better. When that offense starts to come, I'm telling you, he's going to be, him and his brother are going to be Norris Trophy finalists for the next 5 years. Once Luke starts.
And did you guys get that chart that I included in my
you sharded
in my recap?
You say
chart?
chart?
I did not see your chart yet.
No, what was your chart? You
Okay,
always
well,
have
I will
charts
show
in
you.
your
Hang on.
recap. Sometimes I skim the charts.
I know.
just like to read the
I just
words.
think it's really interesting. It's not something that I have access to because it's a subscribe. I poached this from one of the chart boys on Twitter. But hang on, I could share it because we could do that.
Let's do it. Let's show the audience what it is you were talking about, sir.
All right, can you see that?
Yes, we can all see that.
So this is, and I know a lot of people are kind of anti-analytics. This isn't really analytics. This isn't like expected goals or anything like that. These are actual like things like counting stats, but they're just different statistics that get counted basically, and they're not stuff that shows up on traditional score sheets. But it really kind of gives you this sort of fuller picture of what a player does well and what a player doesn't do well, and effectively being very blue is good. And Luke almost breaks the chart on a lot of this stuff. So the top section is his general offense, shots, assists, how much he contributes to goals, how much he contributes to chances. The only thing he's negative there is rebounds created. And you kind of see that, right? And if you go down to like the offense type, the other negative thing is one-timers per 60. So he doesn't take a lot of one-timers. He's not a big shooter like Dougie. So, and he's not creating a lot of rebounds. A lot of his shots go wide or go in. Like he really hasn't been much of a shooter, to be perfectly honest. He's really, really an assist guy. And you see that with his passing, the second kind of chunk of stuff. Like everything in his passing is almost breaking this chart. Zone entries, the same thing. How many zone entries he gets. So these are just raw counting stats. So this controlled entry percentage, like he's getting about 1.4 controlled zone entries every game. And his percentage is off the charts relative to everyone else. Where he does struggle, and I think this is what people rightfully kind of knock him for. If you look in D-zone retrievals and exits, It's the botched retrievals for 60. So he averages a little less than one of those per game. That's that orange box in the middle. And then the failed exits per 60. He also averages a little more than one of those per game. So those are the mistakes he makes. He makes mistakes on sometimes not getting a puck retrieval and not getting the puck out cleanly. So that's really kind of it. So Luke is a very, very good defenseman, and all of this kind of shows that he's basically breaking the charts on everything. He's kind of go ahead. That's it. That's it.
I was just going to say, like, the one thing that annoys me about him, especially on that second power play unit, is that friggin' drop pass in the neutral zone. Bring the puck in. Like, you have more skill than anybody else that's out there, skating skill, puck handling skill, than anybody else that's out there on that second power play unit. Skate the puck in, And that's the thing that I wish he would do a little bit more than that drop pass, especially on the second one, because it's going to Timo or it's going to Mercer. They're not Jack. They're not Jesper. So who's the next guy next best skater to bring the puck in through transition? It's Luke.
Yeah.
Let him do it. Even if you got to keep Timo back, at least, for a few seconds until whatever offense he tries to create, he does, and then he can get back. But that's it. But let him be the one that's pressing the play on the second power play unit, because I do not like that drop pass. I hate it, and he does it every single time.
Well, so I'm going to argue with you a little bit on this.
Please.
Every team in the league does this. It's the slingshot zone entry, and the reason why they do it. So Luke should be doing it earlier. If you watch Dougie when he does it, he's dropping the puck back to Jack at our blue line. Luke's getting like almost all the way to the offensive blue line and turning and being like, oh shit, where is somebody? And then dropping it basically into someone that's there. The reason they do this slingshot zone entry is because when Luke stops and drops that puck back, he's in position where he's going to be in the power play set. And the guys that come through him, then they're getting into their position to be set where they're going to be. So it actually saves probably about 10, 15 seconds of time to set it up. I get what you're saying, though. I would love for Luke to fake that drop pass and just blow the doors off of everyone every now and then, because I think that will help the drop pass because they know it's coming. Right. They know he's not going to blow into the zone, because if he does that once or twice, then that's going to keep him honest. The other thing I'd like to see happen, and I'd like to see actually Bratt do this with Dougie, as opposed to the drop pass, Bratt's sitting up at the offensive blue line, where or actually it's usually Nason. Bratt and Jack are kind of coming in 1-2. I'd like to see Nason just dart across the blue line and Dougie hit him. Like, catch the defenseman sleeping, and you can get a little power play breakaway that way. Just vary it up a little bit, especially when you're struggling with these zone entries. But I do understand the reason for the slingshot. Luke just fucking sucks at it.
Well, I mean, the slingshot makes perfect sense when you're doing it to Jack or Bratt on the first unit, and it's Dougie at the point. I get that. But when you go to the second unit, Luke is the best skater. And at least do what you've said, like, fake it once in a while. And instead of, every single time turning your back to the offensive zone and dropping it. And then, Luke can get back and be in position faster than anybody else. Sorry about that. Anybody else on the ice. So I would just like to see him use his skill a little bit more in the power play, because and
that's why I've been saying we've been talking about putting Timo back on power play 1, right? And I know Palat got that time there, and people are like, what the hell? Why are they doing that? But that's why I've actually been suggesting, like, let's switch Timo and Bratt. Why? Like, do you really need Jack and Bratt to both be the zone entry guys? I get why it kind of works, but like, Bratt's such a dynamic skater and good through the neutral zone. Like, switch Timo and Bratt. Put Timo on that one-timer slot. Now his shot's a weapon there and scares the hell out of people. Yeah, Dougie's shot. Then you can have Jack, Nico, and Nason working down low, or Palat now. But I don't know. I was a little puzzled when Keefe was like, "No, we like Timo for the zone entry on power play too," and I was like, "They kind of suck. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I think you need to put someone who's a better skater and a better puck carrier. I think Timo's great. Like, in the neutral zone, it's actually one of his skill sets. but for whatever reason, it's just not working on power play 2. And to be honest, like it's almost always Mercer carrying the puck through the neutral
Yeah.
zone.
Anything to add on that, Bob, before we do a little shout out to our DraftKings sponsor?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Bob. I just
I'm,
talked.
I'm
forever.
always all for consistency, especially in the lines. But when it comes to things like power play, like I'm really up for a wrinkle here and there, switch it up just a little bit, even if it's not because you're suffering, just to throw a different look at it. If you're on, your second or third power play of the game and maybe you did or didn't have success and you've got the ability to switch, a Brat and a Timo just to throw a different look in there, like why not do it? Every now and then. I'm not saying break up the composition altogether, just change it up, whether it's working or not, just every now and then. Just like you're saying with, Luke coming in the zone on power play too. Once in a while come through, you're going to catch the other team off guard because that's not what Luke does. I don't think there's any negative to trying that often, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like the lines. Like things got a little stale, so they changed stuff up, and now suddenly we're winning again.
Variety is the spice of life.
Sure.
Commercial
It's
time.
spicy, no?
No.
Are you?
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. And you can get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting them on DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6 or a Timo Meyer shot prop. Usually hits. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app now to make your pick, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. In Kansas, 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, please visit dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. All right.
Man, you run fast.
Ken, right? I'm wearing the same sweatshirt.
It's like, have you done laundry recently, buddy? Actually, no. How's the new washing machine working out?
Oh, God, don't get me. So, yeah, last night the part came in. I ordered it. It was $80. I did some research online. It looked like this was the part that was going to fix it. Yeah, Bobby, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I already know. I know this type of story. I had the same one recently.
Yeah, so I put the part in. I close the lid, I start the machine, and it's still making the most horrific sound. I mean, it sounds like it's just about to explode. So I did a little more research. It does look like the transmission shot in it. So today we spent $1,500 on a new washer and dryer that'll be here on Tuesday. And now I want to
couldn't go to the old scratch and dent. What the hell, man? $1,500.
Yes, the problem is that's what we have always done. Like anytime, it's like, all right, find something used, $200-$300. My wife was like, I really would like to just get the dryer. Like we have to dry everything twice. Like it does not dry well. So it's like you put a load in and you're there for an hour and a half waiting for 2 hours to fucking dry. So I was like, she's like, I just really want something new. So, my wife, who doesn't ever ask for anything, we were like, all right, first off, can we pull it off? And so it's being delivered on Tuesday. So we got a new Samsung washer and dryer coming on Tuesday.
Fancy.
It
is nice to have a high-end functioning washer dryer. What drives me nuts about mine is they're side by side, but the doors open inward.
Oh, okay, so they smack into each other.
Yeah, so they smack into each other. So I have to take the clothes out up over the doors and then throw them in the dryer.
They're usually reversible. You do know that.
You can take the doors.
You can
off,
usually switch the hinges Almost always, because they don't know the layout of your house.
You can switch the hinges. What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You take the hinges off, you put them on the other side. Pretty much every laundry. Like, you should check into that.
Wait
I
a
have a
second.
top loaded
Wait,
washer.
I'll be right back.
So, all right, you're gonna go change your hinges. He's gonna go check that right now.
I will tell you that nobody likes appliances, right? Because you buy them, they're expensive, and you just hope to get them as long as possible. So,
Right.
2010 was the last time we bought all new appliances. We renovated our kitchen since we had the same appliances 2010. So, do the math. You already know it's getting there, right? A couple pieces have been replaced. So, the fridge, nice double stack. We fell in love with it. You open the doors, and it like glows open, spent all the money. At one point, something happened, like the plastic underneath, right? And it like popped off. So, like you open the freezer door, and it's always like,
Yeah.
right, bangs really hard.
Gaskets bust up.
Right. I'm like, no problem. That's not a big deal. But then we're sitting there, and every now and then when you get ice out of the ice machine, you'll turn your back, go fill your cup or whatever, and then like another random piece of ice will fall out. Pretty normal, not a big deal. It's been happening forever. So the other day I get ice, I turn to the sink, do whatever I'm doing, and I hear something clink, clink, fall out. And I'm thinking, all right, just another ice cube I got to pick up off the floor. I just moved my cup too fast, but there's no ice cube on the floor. Instead, there's like this giant spring and a piece of plastic. And I'm like,
oh shit,
this fucking thing fell right out of the ice maker. And I don't know what it is. So we got crushed ice and regular ice. So I try them both. Everything works right. My wife gets home. I'm like, this thing is just shitting parts. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. And she looked at, I think like there's a flap that once the ice comes down, goes back up so that it's not like a straight hole right into your freezer. So the spring keeps that flap up, but now it doesn't do that. So you can just kind of look right up there and see the ice. I don't know that it serves any major purpose because nothing's changed in my life, but the signs are definitely there when your freezer just starts pooping out electronics, like
when parts start falling out. Yeah. What make is your refrigerator?
So the full set was Samsung in 2010. Okay. The fridge has lasted and the stove has lasted. The dishwasher went really quick and the microwave went really quick. And the dishwasher, while I was laughing at your story about paying $1,500, is what drives me the most nuts. Because when we were we bought a package, but we actually upgraded the dishwasher from the one that came to like the one over $1,000+. We're like, dishwashers suck. I want a dishwasher that actually washes freaking dishes. So we spent all this extra money and it lasted like 4 or 5 years. Just as soon as warranty runs out, it's gone. Yeah, so now that's a Whirlpool. And I get whatever we got for the thing. But
Tim,
it did treat us good for a while.
But you're happy with the Samsungs because that's what I got coming.
Wouldn't buy them again.
Good to know.
Should we have this it's Tim, a piece of shit.
How'd the hinges go?
I don't think they're reversible because the door is connected to a connector that's then screwed into the actual I don't think it'll work.
The frame of the door.
Dryer?
Right. Yeah, the frame. I looked at the washer, not the dryer. Because the washer's on this side. We could theoretically probably just switch the two, but I don't think the water line's long enough.
That could be a problem.
Yeah.
Or you should have just gotten a top-loaded washer and you don't have to worry about that.
But it's a pretty big laundry room, so we don't. I don't know. We're not.
Sounds like poor planning.
And this washing machine is bigger than the one that we have now, so my wife's happy about that.
A whole bunch of shit in there.
Can actually wash comforters in it and get them clean and shit. So
wash that Tuesday that you've worn every day for the past
grown up shit.
It sucks. I'm like, it's so nice when we rented because it just call somebody and our washing machine's broke. You need to send somebody down to fix it.
Our pros.
So I thought that Justin Dowling played really well last night too. What do you guys think about that line?
Dowling, Meyer,
Timo, or I like
Nosen.
The DDT line, the Dowling, Dawson, Timo line, the DDT line.
Okay,
can we roll with that?
Yeah, we can roll with that. Sure.
Okay.
I think it's temporary. Like it's serviceable right now. I do like Meyer and Mercer together. That's fine, but I don't think long term that
Well, it's probably going to be hollow, right?
Yeah.
And actually, now that you bring that up, let's look at another chart.
I wonder if this one could be bigger.
It's a
Maybe.
website. So,
All I saw was a series of blurry blue and orange lines on your last one.
oh really? Okay, sorry.
Well, my camera's.
Can you read this?
Yeah,
Or
I
no?
see sneakers too.
Yeah, that's a banner ad for Kizik shoes. Have you ever gotten
We can go
Kizik
full
shoes?
screen with it.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
very
right.
good.
So we're looking at the first line here. See where it's highlighted?
Yeah.
So that's Dawson Mercer, Timo Meyer, and Eric Holla.
Mm-hmm.
So this is naturalstattrick.com. I encourage you guys to fuck around on these sites. They're actually like, I don't know. I'm a real nerd, so I love this stuff, but
We don't want to be over prepared. So
Fine.
we're going to let you do that.
We got
Okay.
charts now, Bob.
Well, we got a guy who reads the charts now, Chris.
That's true.
So from the year 22, 23 to 24, 25, that's when we got Timo through last year and up to this year. 5v5. This is the double. So it's what you can do is you can select 3 players. So Dawson Mercer, Timo Meyer, Eric Holler. It's kind of like a line generator. You can see how they play together. You press a button and bada bing, bada boom.
A fancy pivot table.
Yeah. So Dawson, Timo, and Holler.
I like
they
fancy
played-
milking tables.
That's good.
Fuck's sake, Chris. Jesus.
You know, you can milk anything with nipples, Chris.
Oh God.
I've
So
heard
does the
that.
so does the kicker on my football team apparently.
Yeah, he's into milking tables.
Oh,
Oh shit! Yes, Justin
there's some-
Tucker.
oh man.
What a disgusting
not
human
you,
being.
Justin. Not you. What are you
Yes,
doing?
you.
Oh,
What a disgusting, disgusting human being.
I'll say the paper. I'm not going to be an apologist. You got to be fucking kidding me. Good. It'll give us reason to cut him because he shit the bed this year anyway. So they played about 89 minutes. Not a lot, but so CF and CA is Corsi for and Corsi against, and I use this percentage a lot. So this 50% is just 89 to 87 is expressed as a percentage.
Okay.
Corsi for and Corsi against is basically just all shot attempts. They go wide, they get blocked, just all shot attempts. This FFFA is Fenwick for and Fenwick against. These are actually unblocked shot attempts, but still shots that go wide.
Where'd they come up with these fancy names?
Corsi, I think, was actually a goalie that was sitting on the bench and was just like Corsi or Fenwick. I forget which one. One of them was a goalie that was sitting on the bench. Was like, why don't we have a stat that just tracks how many times we shoot and how many times they shoot when guys are on the ice?
Yeah, I would call it like total shot attempts, but whatever. Of course, he works too.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's a good question. I can investigate that and get back to you, Bob. How's that work?
I would love it.
And then the shots for, shots against. So these are actually the track shots for, shots against. So you can see
That
the
makes
amount of-
sense to me, right, Chris? SF,
yeah,
That one makes
and then-
sense.
it's just shots for, shots against while they're on. So they basically get 56.58% of the shots on goal when they're on the ice. They've had 5 goals for, 2 goals against. So goals for, goals against. So 71.43. That's 5 divided by 7. The expected goals for, expected goals against is 60%. And then this number, scoring chances for, scoring chances against, kind of a bit of a wonky formula that they come up with to create scoring chances, and high danger scoring chances. So really, they have very good numbers together, those 3 as a line, right? Hollow, Timo, and Dawson. And if you look at the way the kind of numbers progress, they get a decent amount of shot volume, but they actually got pretty good looks. And the more you look at it, their chance creation is actually really good relative to the shot volume that they're creating. So the high danger chances for and high danger chances against, which is the last one that's 16 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
So of the scoring chances, like a lot of them are high danger. So that's kind of what I do, messing around with all the free time that I have.
So that is the set that would be the good one when we actually get these guys, when we get Holla back. I think he would fit in with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, I think now, and I don't really subscribe to the first line, second line, third line. I know we kind of use those as designations, but you kind of really have to look at how they're deployed and the time on ice and the kind of, how the game flow goes. Like Timo, like Cotter, I think, had our most 5-on-5 ice time for all forwards last game. And that's just probably because he got a lot of shifts in the third period.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
were kicking the crap out of them, but if that works as a third line, then kind of what do we do? I still think maybe an upgrade over Hala works, but maybe then we can, if that works as a third line, maybe then we can really refocus back on a higher end wing for Jack. It kind of all works together like that. And Hala's always been a second half player, same with Timo. So I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts of this, but I still think at the end of the day, an upgrade over Hala, move Hala down to the fourth line, let him concentrate on faceoffs, let him concentrate on penalty killing, find that third line center, and a wing for Jack is still what I would look at.
Well, listen, that adds to the strength of the team too. I mean, if you are actually upgrading Hala and then you put him down the fourth, that's a really positive thing if you think about it. Like if he was our fourth line center to begin with, like that's a great fourth line center. So if you're improving on that in the third, that's great.
Let's say that they go out and they get Ryan O'Reilly. I'm just using him as an example because he's a very good face-off guy. He's a great, he's a perfect third 3C from what we need. Mm-hmm. And if we go into the playoffs down the middle with Hughes, Hischier, Hala, and O'Reilly, there's not many teams that have better center depth than we do. If you were to pull that off, I would take that over. If I had to pick Ryan O'Reilly, a good 3C, someone like him, or a winger for Jack, I think I'd go with that 3C. I just think come playoff time, it's more important to have that depth down the middle.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's hard to argue against that. And financially, I don't think they really have room. Like our with all the injuries now and call-ups that we've had to do, that kind of is cut into what our cap situation is. Now our deadline cap space is looking like $4 million as of today. It was 5.6 before Nico and Markstrom went down. So that number fluctuates a little bit. And again, there's retention opportunities that could happen and stuff like that. But O'Reilly's for 3 more years.
Way than that. Like that almost seems like a like we had players go down, so that effectively is reducing the trade capital we're going to have later in the year. Right. It just seems kind of flawed. Like, okay, here's the bottom line. How much do we owe? How much are we paying in salary this year? Okay, that's what we're up against in the cap. And then this is what we got left. But when they go into all these injuries, it changes everything. It just seems flawed. There's a lot smarter guys that sit in a room, pull all this shit together, lawyers and such, whatever must make sense to them. But it just seems on the outside a little flawed.
So you're saying a capologist is not in the future?
That's right. And I love numbers.
I get what you're saying. Like if we're not getting their services right now, we should be able to recoup that money in year-end cap, basically.
Right. The opposite of what's
for the amount of games that guys miss, whatever that works out, 1 divided by 82 of their AAV. Because so like Nico's missed 3 games, he makes $7 million and change, whatever that is, tack it back onto our. I'd be down with that. I'll get Bill Dilly on the phone and see what he says.
Probably listen to you.
Does Brendan Saad do anything for you guys?
No. I'd have to look and see how he's been doing the last couple of years. I mean, he was a pretty big name before, but I'm not really sure.
Let's take a look. It's kind of a bold move. Yeah.
So you guys know what happened, right?
No.
What
so
team
he
was
got
St. Louis?
Not anymore, but he got waived.
No. He's probably not going to show up here.
They put him on waivers. He's, I think, due $4.5 million, right? So if he was to clear waivers, which he did, and then go down to the AHL, he would recoup all his money and he'll get his $4.5 million. But this dude is betting on himself, and he basically said, cut me. I don't care about, I don't want to play in the AHL. I want to play in the NHL, and I'm going to go try and find a place to fit in. And for dog shit money, he'll go and so he's basically saying, I don't care about the $5 million. I want to play in the NHL, and I will go play for the right team, and I don't really care what they pay me. So that's where he's at. So that's why I say, Brendan Saad, we don't have a lot of money. Does he do anything? First of all, is he a winger? He's a winger, right? Like he would be a bottom 6 winger. I don't think he's a center, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's a left wing.
Okay. Just a thought. Like I don't know much about him like you, Bob. I don't know, how good he is. I mean, if St. Louis is waiving him, they're not a very good team. Then
Yeah, I mean, if we had the money and we were otherwise solidified, and you're going to the playoffs, and you can get this guy for under the equivalent of $1 million or whatever for the remainder of the year, chump change essentially, you might pick him up just to have him as a little insurance. But I don't
what, he
think
won
we
3
need him.
cups. I think he won 2 with
At least-
Chicago,
at least
1 with
2.
St. Louis.
At least the 2.
I could be wrong.
Yes, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean, little past his prime, right? And
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm trying to.
I mean, somebody may be worth taking a flyer on. I think somebody will. He'll make an NHL team.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that he was looking at Edmonton. Probably would look at him because his old Chicago GM, who kept
Yeah.
trading for him, is now the Edmonton guy. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd give him a flyer. He's got good size. We have like 8 right wings and like 2 natural left wings.
right.
He scored 26 goals a couple years ago. He's got kind of above average speed. I don't know if he's like particularly physical or anything like that, I guess. With his size.
I like nothing about him stands out to me where I remember anything about him or his runs. I mean,
Yeah.
even when Chicago was winning cups, I was MIA, so I wasn't following the sport too much.
I
So
feel like he's always that guy that that everybody thought would be the one to take like a jump, and he never just kind of did, and that's why he sort of bounced around a little bit. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like he had 52 points, 53 with Chicago, and then Columbus, and then kind of came back down to 35 in the 40s. It's kind of been in that 30-40 point range. I don't know. Is he just kind of like a left-handed Mercer who's maybe a little bit stronger? I don't know. I honestly I don't know even what his play style is like or what he's like. So
it's just a name I wanted to throw at you
Yeah.
guys. I do hope that something happens sooner rather than later as far as the trades go. If we're going to make a move, which I think we have to do something. I just don't think the team, the way it is right now, I just don't know how look, there's going to come a time within the next couple of weeks, I'll even say, where if you're Tom Fitzgerald, you have to kind of laser focus. If the Devils keep going the way that they are and playing the way they are and keeping, 650 winning percentage from now until the end of the year, you got to seriously can start looking now saying, what do I need to beat the Hurricanes? Because that is, look, it's going to be the Canes. Like, we pretty much know who our first round opponent's going to be. So I'm down with, figuring out what do we need to get through that. And,
yeah, I mean,
the right moves.
Saad, what I would see him as is an upgrade over Tatar. That fourth line left wing, maybe. I don't know, kind of maybe the same player basically. But now
I think a lot of Devil
again.
If we got rid of Tatar, I think a lot of Devil fans will be Saad, but I wouldn't be. I don't. There's the dad joke for the show. Yeah, I wouldn't care. I would be fine with getting rid of Tatar. Yeah. Tatar stick where offense goes to die. It's just really is.
Except recently.
Yeah, he's had it. I mean, look, when he scores, he does, like, his goals are all hard-working goals. Like, you can't say the guy doesn't try. He's out there, but he just, doesn't really have the skill set.
He's not what he once was. Yeah, Saad would probably be an upgrade over him. My sense of urgency in my own head kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. After the Philly game earlier in the week, I was like, trade everybody, start over. And then after last night, I'm like, oh, we don't need a thing. We're great. All's good. We'll get Hala and Nico back, and that's that. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see what's going on in Fitz's mind. And I listened to a couple of different podcasts this week that actually Eric Tulsky, the Carolina GM, was on.
What a creepy looking weird dude, man.
Like, dude, his background is wild.
I know.
And the way his voice is just like he sounds exactly like he looks, and he looks and sounds exactly like what his background is. like PhD in neuroscience or whatever it was. But he gave some pretty interesting insight on how trades come about. Basically, he was like, I have a sense, and I've talked to all 31 teams, and I know what options would be on the table for them. And he was like, Rantanen was on the table as far back as last summer, potentially, as an option. And you kind of keep circling back throughout the year. Like I've mentioned this before when I did my little stint with Neil Smith, I was like, this guy's on the phone all the time, and they're always talking to each other. Now they're probably texting away, but they know basically what guys are kind of out there. They just need to be able to finalize what the sort of final deal is, and have the other GM pull the trigger on it. And we got close last year with Allen apparently, but he wouldn't waive his no movement clause. We don't really know what happened with those types of conversations, what kind of pressure Fitz put on. I kind of, in retrospect, I'm happy that he didn't really mortgage too much for last year, because I feel like it was just a lost season.
You talking Markstrom?
No, when we originally got Allen, it came out that we tried to get him in like December, but Allen wouldn't waive his new movement clause to come and be in another 3 goalie rotation, because he was in a 3 goalie rotation in Montreal. So I don't know what Fitz has on the table. I don't know if like the leaks are true, about Jake Evans, about other guys that he's had interest in, and there's so many websites out there that just post bullshit, but I saw another clickbaity thing today. It was like, Devils are interested in Kyle Palmieri. It's like,
and if you're looking for the ultimate bullshit, go to theunclepuckers.com. Let's tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah. I published a trade targets list that I came up with in my head, and has no sourcing in it at all. So feel free to peruse that. But yeah, it's like
reckless
a lot of it's just like guys in the media be like, you know what, that guy would fit well on that team. And then that same shit happened with Brady Tkachuk, and then now it's happening with JT Miller. Where they're
I kind of still think we started the Brady Tkachuk thing. I really do think we started that.
Mike Rupp definitely started it.
No, we were saying it before Rupper. We were actually talking about that about a month or so before Rupp started talking about it on NHL Network.
This I can say is true, because I do remember when he talked about it, because it was like, you see the shit?
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right. Like we were talking about it beforehand. So, but
I saw somebody log onto our site, Rupp743. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was him. I'm not...
He's in the chat. He's in the chat right now.
It was just an obvious need. It's like you're looking at what that team needed last year, our Devil team, and you're looking at a Senator team that was going nowhere fast, and it's like that's the fit. Like we were dying to have somebody play with Jack. You need a good winger, somebody who's big and strong, can score goals. And that to me was the perfect fit. We were even saying, like, if you had to go Timo for him, do it. Now, that's last year. This year I feel differently. I like what team. I feel like Timo's finally, the last couple of games, like that's his role. That's what he needs to be doing. Like put him on with Mercer, let him, drive all the play, let him set up Mercer. Maybe Mercer will get better at finishing some of this shit, but that's what he can't play second fiddle to Jack or second fiddle to Nico. He's got to be his own guy. He's got to run his line. I don't care. He's not a center. It's Timo Meyer's line, and he's the one that has to generate the offense. And I think that he was kind of capitulating a little bit too much, especially to Nico, because they're boys, and he wants to do what's best for the team, and he's the captain. But I think that now it's like, okay, he can kind of be himself and be what he was, a lot more of what he was in San Jose. So I'm super happy with Timo since this line change.
Yeah, Timo's been good all season. I've thought like he's been doing what we wanted, but he really has emerged over the past 4 or 5 games,
right,
as an actual game breaker with the results. And yeah, you're right. And now, and kind of thinking back about it, if we have 3 lines that can light it up like that, like the Timo Mercer connection, if it's Holla, if it's someone else, we keep Jack Bratt together, keep Nason Nico together. Like that's really dangerous. Like three lines that can score. If we need to match up Holla against someone, maybe we flip flop Timo on off his wing, put Palat there or something like that. We have so much optionality and versatility with those guys, and I think that's why Fitz is out there looking for kind of center wing versatile guys.
All right. Anything else that you want to add, Bobby?
Well, I've been saying all along that I love Timo and I love the game he brings, but I always felt like there's something wrong with the fit. I think I've probably said that at least 50 times since we got him. And I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's as simple as saying, hey, you know what? Here you go. This is your line. You go ahead and drive. Let's unleash the Timo that he should be. Maybe that's the answer, because there's something, as good as he's been, fine, but there was always something off. We've all agreed to that at one point or another. Maybe sometimes I've said it when maybe you'll disagree because underlying stats will say, no, he's playing a really good game. But I mean, high end, we would look at this and go, what's missing here? So yeah, if he's got a chance now to be that driver and feel that he can do what he does the way he does it, then I'm all for it. And it was only just a couple shows ago. Remember, I was like, I don't know if I want him on the third line. My head gets stuck on like the percentage of cap and $9 million, and you're not playing left wing with Jack or doing whatever. But bottom line is, if it evens out the scoring, and if it gets him going specifically, then I'm game.
And you go to the Montreal game, I believe. It could have been the Boston game, the one prior. But at one of those games, that Timo line led the team in ice time. So it doesn't, like you said, it's hard to say we have a 1, 2, 3 of 4 lines. No, it's we have, especially if that line works, the DDT line, trademark pending. If the DDT line works, then like I said, Tim, could you imagine now 3 lines? 90% of the NHL is not going to be able to defend that. Like, you just can't have 3 waves of guys.
It's a matchup nightmare.
Yeah. And then the 4th line just comes and knocks you around. And eventually, and they'll get theirs too, because by the time they're out there, your defensive pairings are just shot. So your 4th line can go in and bang around and get some ozone time and maybe pick up a couple of greasy goals. But that's the way to build this team. Add the physicality along with all the speed and the skill that we have. Have them complement each other. Goaltending's been great all year. I don't expect that to change at all, no matter who's in there, even though I do want to see Isaac Poulter. I would love to see him in net on Saturday or Sunday against Buffalo.
He just got sent down.
That's not going to happen. All right. I think I need to watch a Utica comic game if I'm ever going to fucking see Isaac Poulter play.
Hey, by the way, they showed him on the bench, man. He looks like he's like
8
he's like 8 or 9 years old, man. He literally looks like a little kid cosplaying in like his dad's goalie gear.
He does look young.
He's only 23?
Something like that. Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, I think Dawes is coming back up. That's Keith kind of indicated that was a plan.
Yeah, he said they want.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, me? I was just saying that. Yeah, he had said that he wanted Dawes to play, I guess, in the weekend down there and stuff, and get a couple more starts before they bring him up. But I guess it's Dawes' turn. He's next in line. I understand. I did want to see Poulter play though.
And speaking of Dawes, just as very random, but I was looking at Puckpedia, which is kind of has all the salaries and stuff. Dawes' contract next year, like all the kind of guys that go back and forth, they all have 2-way contracts. His contract next year isn't 2 ways. So we're paying him the same amount in the AHL as in the NHL. I don't know why that is. His contract this year is 2 ways, so it makes a different AHL salary.
So next year's just in a minor league deal?
Next year, no, it's the same amount. It's 8, 12, 500.
No, but
when he's playing in the AHL, he gets like 80 grand or whatever. But when he's up here, he gets that. He's saying next year that transfers to 800,000, whether he's up or down.
I got you. Because next year,
which means he's coming up.
Right. Next year, I think it's pretty much said Allen will be gone and Dawes will be backing up Markstrom. I think we can all pretty much, which kind of stinks because I do like Jake Allen. And he has shown
he keeps playing like that. You never know.
They might give him another 1-year deal. You never know. Yeah. I mean, we're not locked into any of these guys. In talking, kind of circling back to the beginning, Kovacevic and Luke didn't look all that great yesterday in the first period. Like, they kind of settled into things, and it was a blowout, so it's really hard to gauge. But their numbers were really bad. I'm really curious to see what Kovacevic looks like away from Siegenthaler, because there is a pretty big looming right side defensive decision that needs to be made. So hopefully
look,
that'll
man,
pick back up.
We saw that happen. Like we saw John Marino's game fall off a fucking cliff without Ryan Graves. It's just it's certain guys, they just do bring out the best in everybody else. So that's interesting. But at the same time,
It was
they
one
did
game,
settle
so
in
who
good.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows what Keefe's going to do. I think Keefe has such a fucking vast improvement over having a pulse on your club. Like I think Keefe does fantastically compared to Lindy Ruff, where I felt like Lindy Ruff was just taking a shit in his hands and throwing it in the wall and going, "Hey, is that working?" Like Keefe seems to
Generally
really
sticks.
Yeah, right.
Well,
And
depends on what you had for dinner.
yeah, that's true. Keefe definitely has a very good pulse on this team, and I'm really happy that he's our coach.
He made an interesting comment before last night's game, or he said, I was thinking, and you said this after the game, but he said before the game, I was thinking, it was like, we'll really see what this team's made of, which I thought was kind of interesting. So
yeah, he's right, because that's what we all were thinking, right?
Are we doing garbage goalie, by the way?
I was just before looking for my notebook, and I don't have it in here, the one that I have everything down. So I don't even know who won the last one. But I will be more than happy to do garbage goalie. We can just do it. Tim, you've never picked first, so we're gonna go Tim, Bobby, you. It's garbage goalie of the week. What?
It's because he's not good at this game.
That's true. He's not.
It's his worst
not. I'm still not entirely sure I understand the rules, apparently.
Okay, so what we're going to do is each of us are going to pick a goalie that we have not picked before that is playing on Saturday and only Saturday. The goalie with the lowest save percentage is the winner. So we here at the Uncle Puckers celebrate piss poor garbage goaltending by playing the garbage goalie of the week. So we have a few games on Saturday. Tim, we're going to let you go first. Who is your garbage goalie? And Bobby, if you have a pen, write this down because I can't find my notebooks.
I'm like this. I got one right here. I'm like the special needs kid on the team. Huh?
You are. Yeah, we're going to put you on a helmet next time we play this one.
Timmy.
In a helmet.
Timmy. Go ahead, Timmy, Bobby. All right. I'll go with Ilya Sorokin.
Oh, go against the Lightning. Taking Ilya Sorokin against the Lightning. Okay.
For reference, that was my 4th out of 4 possible choices, just in case that comes back to bite you.
Who you got, Bob?
It will.
I surprised at this. I'm going to go with Peter Mrazek against Panthers.
Where's that? Peter Mrazek against. Okay, so Blackhawks against the Panthers. Ew. Where am I going here?
I think I like my better.
All right, I'll take shit, man. Who the hell's the Red Wings goalie now?
Talbot still?
Is it Talbot?
They have like 8 goals. They have like 8 goalies. They have a very strange roster.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying I don't know who the hell their goalie is. All right, I'll take whoever is the Red Wings goalie against the Calgary Flames.
Talbot or Lyon?
No, against the Calgary Flames. I'm taking Detroit's goalie, not Lyon.
Alex Lyon is.
Alex Lyon is with Detroit. Wolf is with the Flames. I got the animals mixed up. Sorry. You know what? Let me switch that. I'm going to go with Dustin Wolf against the Red Wings. I'm going to go with Calgary.
Rookie of the year, Dustin.
I'm going to go with Detroit. I'm going to go with Dustin Wolf.
Just like when I gamble, I'm very excited that I'm going to win this week.
Right, because you're going to win big because you're going completely off the reservation. There's a reason why there's so much money to be won when you go completely off the reservation because you never fucking win.
I know. I stopped betting Timo goals, and the motherfucker starts scoring.
Yeah, they take the shot prop, like I say. Always go with the shot prop.
Stop betting Luke's goals. Luke started scoring.
Anything else that you guys want to add for this evening, boys?
Yeah.
The first ever live stream that we did, which was completely spontaneous. Well, there seems to be one person watching now.
I think that's me.
I know.
I commented.
Let's keep going on because I could tell like one's on and then it's off. I know it's you guys. So literally nobody.
I have a feeling we should probably tell people next time.
Well,
But,
next time we will.
hey, at least
And-
we know. Hey, at least we know it works, and then we'll get all
right.
the
That
porn
was
bots
the
in
key,
here.
right? Just to make sure that this thing works. And also, like I said, I want to try our best to do these after every playoff game. I just think it would be a lot of fun as soon as the game's over, even if it's just for a half hour, 40 minutes, see if some people want to come on and piss and moan or, celebrate, whatever. So I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
I
we can
agree.
do like
I agree.
a little vent line for our listeners to come on and tell us what they think. So,
All right.
all right. That's it for this evening. We are wrapping it up. Please, wherever you are listening to us, a download, subscription, 5-star review, positive comment. And if you are watching us on the new and improved Uncle Pucker YouTube channel, the whole subscription and fucking alert bell, whatever. You guys know what to do. I don't have to tell you. So for Bobby and Tim, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. Every other fucking show that I put on, like they're the first thing. They're like, make sure you smash that subscribe button and do it. And it's just
Yeah.
fucking everybody knows what to do. Like nobody subscribes to shit.
Hit the like
Nobody
button
downloads shit.
below.
Yeah, like I know that it helps algorithms or whatever, but the bottom line, I don't fucking do it. Like I'm being honest. Like I'll watch the same shit all the time on YouTube,
Do you
and
subscribe
I don't
to-
subscribe because they're fucking telling me to. Fuck you. I'm not subscribing. What do you think?
We
of that?
got to work on our plugin.
Chris is right out of
This is
Antifa.
why we
looking
will
in.
never make money.
Don't tell me what to do.
And another
Yeah.
thing, DraftKings.
Do you subscribe?
Fuck
Do you
you.
subscribe to the? Jesus Christ! Do you subscribe to the Uncle Puckers on YouTube?
I think I did subscribe to us.
Yeah,
Yes, I
did you?
did.
Yeah.
I did.
I
So
I don't
yeah.
know. I'm on the fence. Those guys are dorks.
They are dorks, but sometimes they're fun and
That
somewhat
one math
knowledgeable.
guy. Jesus Christ.
They're so fucking
I
nerd with
mean,
all those
you really
charts.
want to put people to sleep with giant graphs. They're impossible to fucking read, but whatever. We got this, Tim.
Sorry, you
We
don't know how to
kid.
read,
We
Chris.
kid.
Apologies.
I know how to read, just not English.
Uh-huh.
All right, we are the Uncle Puckers. We're out of here. We'll see you when we
Bye
see you.
byes.
Yeah, go fix your dishwasher, Belica.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!